Hello and welcome back to another episode of Beyond NSU. I'm your host, Chloe Ryan, and today I am here with the multi-talented Franceli Chapman-Varela.
Hey girl, you got it.
Franceli is a NSU grad, class of 2009.
Oof.
And she is here to talk to us today.
Yes.
So hello, Franceli.
Hi, gorgeous.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Listen, I'm fresh off the plane. I just got here, but I feel great to be here. The campus has changed. It's been a long time. It's my first time back on campus since 2010. It's been a long time.
No way.
Yes.
It's been 12 years?
It's been 12 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So what made you come back now?
You know, I feel like I was ready. It's interesting that I think we all go through this, right? You feel like you have something to prove, and you feel like, when I first started coming back for homecoming, I felt like, I got to put on for everybody. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to come back when I'm fully just myself and I feel good about who I am. And hey, it took 12 years, but I'm here.
Okay. So 12 years. What have you been doing in these 12 years?
In 12 years, right?
These past 12
There's
years,
been a
what have
lot
you been
going
doing?
on. You know, I'm a mass comm broadcast journalism major with a minor in theater. And so I've continued to do that. Praise God. There's a lot of people who major in this but don't get to pursue it after. So I'm so grateful that everything that I learned here, I got to use in multi ways. I've been a writer for many publications. I've been a host for different avenues and different things. I'm still an actress. You can see me on TV. I've done movies, all those things. So I'm so grateful that life has taken me on that trajectory. But when I graduated, that's the thing. Life just kind of be lifing, right? Like I graduated and I just was spit out, and I was back home at my mom's house, and I was really depressed at first because I'm like, I spent all this money, I went to college, I got this degree, now what? And so it took about 5 years of being in New York and kind of like fumbling through before I really just stepped out on faith, one-way ticket, no car, no job, no plan, and I moved to Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I've been there almost 9 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go backwards.
Yes, let's go back.
What were you involved in while you were here at NSU?
I was doing the most. I was a cheerleader. I was a NSU player, which is the theater troupe here. I was a radio personality for Hot 91, and I was the vice president of the Spanish club. So I was doing the most.
The most. And how did you balance all of this?
I don't know. And I graduated with honors.
Period.
Come on, girl.
Okay.
3.2 GPA. I still got it. So balancing is really important. Time management. For me, partying is part of who I am. I'm Dominican. I'm Afro-Latina. I'm loud. I love to hang out. I love to party. Yes, and I felt like partying was my reward for getting my work done. So if I finished my paper, then I went out and turned up. So that was the thing. I had to make sure everything got done first, and having that balance and being that discipline is what enabled me to have a good old time at Norfolk State and still graduate with honors.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what made you choose Norfolk State? What made you choose mass comm?
You know what? God chose Norfolk State for me. I'm going to keep it 1,000. I was a freshman at Lehman College in New York. And again, Facebook had just come out. And I saw all my friends on Facebook in their dorms and pledging. And I was like, I'm not getting that experience. So I had two choices. Either I was going to drop out of college and pursue acting full time. Or if my parents really wanted me to get a degree, I want to go away for school. And because I was an illegal immigrant and my parents sacrificed a lot to come to this country, I was born in the Dominican Republic, I knew that it was important for me to get that piece of paper. So I Googled schools in Norfolk because I had come here for vacation on spring break my freshman year. I met a man in the military. And so I was like, well, I could kill two birds with one stone. I could go to school and be close to this man. And there I was. There were two schools, ODU and Norfolk State. And I did eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And it landed on Norfolk State. This is the craziest story. Don't do what I did. And I picked up the phone and I called Norfolk State's admissions office. It was June. And as y'all know, classes start in August. And I was just like, hey, I am a freshman at Lehman College. I have a 3.5 GPA. I do off-Broadway theater because I started doing off-Broadway theater on 42nd Street when I was in high school.
Wow.
So I was like, hey, this is who I am. This is my resume. People will come to Norfolk State because I went there. I was bold at 19 years old, and I just said, hey, I really need to get off my mother's couch. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment, my mom, my brother, and myself. And coming here was my only way out. And they were like, okay, we'll take an interview. And I was on the next flight here. I met with admissions. I got in, and the rest is history.
Wow. That's a story for sure.
I just be doing crazy things. But sometimes you got to have crazy faith to really pursue the things that are meant for you.
I love that. I really do.
Yeah.
So I want to know your acting journey.
Yeah.
You just mentioned you did Off-Broadway
Yes.
in high school.
In high school. Crazy.
So how did that start? How did you get into acting here at NSU, at your previous institution, and
all the way through?
Yeah.
Sure. So in high school, there was a program called the All-Stars Project on 42nd Street, and they came to my school to recruit, and they had a drama program. And I was like, well, I had never been an actress before, but there was this other program I did called the College Now program, where you could take college classes while in high school. And I took a drama class because I was like, they've been calling me a drama queen my whole life, so let me try this. So I did Shakespeare. And it was cool. I got a college credit. But the professor did not believe that I had never acted in my life. He was like, this is your first time? I was like, yeah. He was like, no, you have to come back. So when this program came from 42nd Street, I auditioned. This Afro-Latina from the Bronx auditioned with a Shakespeare monologue, and their mouths were agape. They could not believe that this black girl was doing Shakespeare. But it's all I knew. It was the only monologue I had in my back pocket. So I auditioned. I got in. I joined the Youth on Stage program. And once you graduate from that program, you are eligible to do plays at their center on 42nd Street.
Oh, wow.
So I started doing plays there. I was in the New York Times and the Amsterdam News by the time I was 17. It's amazing. So when I came to Norfolk State, I just knew that I had to keep that going. So I auditioned for NSU Players. I got in. And I did all the plays here. But that's the thing. Rest in peace, Dr. Murray. He's no longer with us. But, man, did he humble me. Because I came to Norfolk State with a big head. I was like, I'm from New York. I've been doing Off-Broadway. What Norfolk State got? So, but the beautiful thing about Norfolk State is that it's family. And it really taught me about community. And you're only as good as your team. And you're only as good as your next performance, because the people who are coming to see you tonight didn't see you last night. And so my professor was like, I will put up a C grade actress to teach an A grade actress a lesson. And so Norfolk State was a humbling process, and I'm so thankful for it, because now I'm out in the world and I know that every person, the people behind the camera, the person running the coffee, they're all important and they're all valuable, and it's important to be kind, because kindness goes a long way.
Yes. I love that. Thank you for that.
Yes.
So your shift from, so after you graduated, did you go back to New York? Were you still here?
did.
You went back to New York.
I went back to New York, back to my mama's house.
And then you went to LA.
Then I went to LA 5 years later.
So how was that?
Oof.
Going from New York to LA, those are
Huge.
two different worlds.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
A big transition. I hated LA at first. I wanted everywhere to be like New York, and that's just not going to happen. And so my body moved to LA, but my mind didn't. And so I remember, interesting enough, I met a woman from Norfolk State who was an alumni back when I was here. There's this play, I don't know if you heard of it, it's called Raisin in the Sun. And when I was in undergrad, I was the costumer for one of the alumni. And because that was the thing, if you were part of NSU Players, whether you were on stage or not, you had to do something. So if you didn't get cast in that play, you had to run lights, you had to do sound, you had to do something. So I was doing costumes for this woman. Cut to when Dr. Murray died, I called this woman who I saw on Facebook, now lived in Los Angeles. And I told her, hey, I'm moving to LA. And she saw, you know, that it's that NSU love.
Yeah.
Although we had been around each other maybe 3 times, she said, when you come to LA, hit me up. Her and her husband picked me up from the airport, and they loved on me. And it's that NSU family and love. When I was a student here, they told me, look to your left, look to your right. These are the people that are going to help you once you graduate. And that's what happened. I went to LA with no plan and didn't know anybody. But an NSU family alumni looked out for me, and the rest is history.
I love that. So you said you've acted in a couple of films.
Yes.
Let's talk about them.
Let's talk about it. I was in a movie called Cult, Fear is Not of God, which was actually written and directed by that woman. Her name is Swazina.
Oh,
She
wow.
graduated right here from Norfolk State, and we were nominated for Best Horror Film at the official Latino Film Festival, and I actually won Best Actress for it.
wow.
I've also been on All American. I've been on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And
Okay.
so I've been in a movie on BET called Open, starring Essence Atkins. So I've done a few things, but I'm ready for my career to kind of take the next level, and I think that's where it's going.
Okay. Which is your favorite?
Which is my favorite? I think it
Yes.
would be doing the movie Open on BET, because Essence is my best friend, and it's amazing to have seen a woman that I watched on television my whole life, and then moved to Los Angeles, and we became friends, and then we became best friends, and then we got to do a movie together. I mean, I would have never imagined that when I was a student here.
Oh, wow. So what steps are you taking to get to the next step?
Well, I got a new manager, praise the Lord. And my new manager is really amazing and moving things around. But I've also been able to do some really cool things. Like this fall, there's a new show on Audible, an Audible original series starring Dasha Polanco from Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
And I get to play a few roles in that, doing voiceover for an original script.
Oh, wow.
So there's some cool things happening that are coming out. I'm publishing my first book as a spoken word artist. My first poetry collection is coming out at the end of the year. So I'm taking those steps.
Oh, wow. So I was just going to ask about poetry.
Yes.
How long have you been writing poetry for?
Since I was a kid, my father was a poet. And when I felt really sad, I would write, but I would never show anyone. Poetry was like my diary. And then when my father passed away, he died while I was here at Norfolk State. April is National Poetry Month. So every April I would write poems to kind of commemorate him and celebrate him, but also wouldn't really share them until I started this blog. So that's when I started sharing it. But it wasn't until the pandemic where I started performing poetry as a spoken word artist.
Oh, wow.
And I
So that's
performed.
recent.
Yeah, I performed at an open mic over Zoom. And then that won me a scholarship with a publishing company. And now my book is getting published.
Okay. What's the name of the book?
The book is called Between Spaces, because I got a gap. And I've also been between all kinds of spaces, being Latina, being black, not feeling black enough, not feeling Latin enough, and just all of what it means to be between all these spaces. And so my book talks about identity, it talks about culture, it talks about faith, it talks about love. So I'm really excited for people to read
That
it.
is so exciting. And when does it come out, you said?
At the end of the year, if not the top of 2023.
All right. And where can it be bought at?
Well, the cool thing is my publishing company, Alegria Publishing, which is an all-woman Latin-owned company.
I love that.
And they just got contracted by a huge publishing house that is sold nationwide and in Canada. So my book will be anywhere books are sold. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, it'll be everywhere.
Okay. All right. And hosting.
Yes.
You do that as well.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
So when I first moved to LA, the first job I got, the first week I moved there, that's how I knew I took the right leap of faith. I got a phone call. They were like, hey, can you cover the NAACP Image Awards red carpet? I was like, yeah. I had to like borrow a dress from my friend because I didn't pack everything. I still had stuff I needed to ship. And then I grabbed my friend's husband. I said, can you be my camera guy? Because that's the thing when you host that a lot of people don't teach you when you're in school. You got to run and gun. You got to be ready. Like, have a camera person that has their own equipment, have your microphone, and just go and do it for the company. Because when you're first starting out, you just don't know what's going to happen. Unless you're with E! News, which takes a while, you're going to be out there just kind of like renegade trying to get interviews, and they might put you in a spot in the carpet that's not right at the front. People will be walking past you, so you really got to hustle when you're on the carpet to ask people for interviews. So I got thrown into the fire my first week at LA, and it was amazing. I got to interview like all these people from Grey's Anatomy, all these black actors. It was really, really amazing, and that was like my intro to hosting in LA.
That's dope. What have you hosted most recently?
So I used to work for a company called AfterBuzz TV, and I did Black Hollywood Live and all of that. But I don't know if I should be telling y'all, but y'all family, I have an exclusive going on with Warner Brothers. So there's a project that should be coming out soon where I'll be hosting with my best friend. So
ooh, that is
out for that.
exciting.
Yes.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
I really do. Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time.
We run out of time.
But you got to come back.
I got to come back.
Yes, we need that.
Yes.
We really do, because we
Yes.
have to continue this conversation.
Yes. Thank you, Chloe.
But we have run out of time. Thank you so much for being here with us, Franceli. And I'll see you next time. I'm Chloe Ryan. Thank you for watching Beyond NSU.